you know, this person is not.
They make the sport popular in the country in the morning.
Maybe on an election day when there is no other person.
On a typical Friday morning.
10 minutes?
Yes. So imagine if that person is put on the football. I'd rather just praise a manager. Since we're not talking about football and all that happened in the last few hours, I'd rather just praise the Splash FM general manager for the job he has been doing so well, because the results are evident.
What's that?
Yeah, I'm just being kind. Honestly, I'm just being kind. Since you've asked us not to talk about football and all that happened in the last 7 hours.
AY, what are you up to?
What am I up to? I'm just praising managers because, listen.
Is it up for the 5K or 10K?
AY is up to something.
Of course, it has to be that way.
Honestly, today
I'm sure Josh will have
I'm
an
just being
answer
truthful.
to
I'm
what
just
is
being
going on
truthful
here.
with you. When you have a team that has a good manager, the result is always evident.
Okay. The Super Eagles of Nigeria have got a good manager as well.
Do they?
Yes, so now we can talk about it. Nigeria suffered a shock 1-0 home defeat against Central African Republic in African qualifying for the 2022 World Cup yesterday. That was on Thursday. Substitute Kyle Manganda, who plays in the French fourth tier for Les Abiers, managed to latch onto a hopeful long ball forward as it fell between two Super Eagles defenders to score in the 91st minute in Lagos. It was Nigeria's first loss at home in a World Cup qualifier since October 1981, when they lost 2-0 against Cape Verde in neutral Ghana. Van Div Amon opened the scoring for Liberia deep into first half stoppage time before Jamiro Montero just on as a substitute leveled matters 7 minutes after the break. Cape Verde snatched victory in the 92nd minute as another substitute, Guy Rodriguez, smashed in the winner from the edge of the area. The results leave Nigeria top of Group C with 6 points from 3 matches. Central African Republic and Cape Verde both have 4 points with Liberia on 3. Nigeria still have a chance for revenge this Sunday when they play CR in Cameroon, while on the same day, Cape Verde hosts Liberia. CR and Liberia are among the 11 countries representing over a quarter of Africa's teams in the second round to be barred from playing at home because of poor infrastructure. Sudan, Ivory Coast, Liberia, and Mozambique were added to the 8 countries that received bans for last month, with Niger having been removed from the list after being given the go-ahead to host games. We'll talk about other groups, but first, I mean, it was a bad result, no doubt, no question about it. Now, there's an opportunity again on Sunday to right our wrongs. Where did we get it wrong? What do you think we should be doing ahead of the next game, which is just barely, 48 hours from now? Let me start with you, AY.
A whole lot. We have a whole lot to do. At least to start with the psyche of the boys. We don't need a motivational speaker. We don't need any, any sort of doctor to work on the mental fortitude or the mental state of the players. They purely just, underrated the Central African Republic team yesterday, and of course it backfired. You could tell that from the get-go.
You guys on Just Football, and there was a bit of banter between Faith and Blessing. Blessing was of the opinion that, look, this is CAR. Anything below 4-0 will be unacceptable to her. And Faith was saying, well, just a 3 points will be enough.
At the end of the day,
we got neither.
Neither did we get a funny. But I think it says a whole lot about the setup now for Gunnar Raw. His team is always very, very slow to come out of the blocks. That is why you hardly find the Super Eagles win convincingly. And even when we eventually won that first half against Sierra Leone, we still eventually back. I mean, we were able to take our foot off the pedal and it backfired. So I think on Sunday they have a whole lot to do. They need to actually move the ball around quicker this time around. They need to be a bit more intentful with their passes. And ultimately, we understand the fact that for this current crop of Super Eagles, there is no sense of creativity from the middle of the pack. The largest share of our creativity comes from the flank. So I think they should really be looking to work out the fullbacks of the opposition, that's the Central African Republic, later on Sunday. And indeed, make sure that we create as many chances as possible, because Osimhen had just a few half chances. Still managed to actually hit the crossbar, but then at the end of the day, he obviously could have actually converted maybe 1 or 2 if those chances actually came in a premium way. But alas, that wasn't the case yesterday. So we have a whole lot to do, starting with the psyche of the boys and ultimately with the tactics as well.
Okay, Facebook buzzing already. Remember the question we're asking you this morning about that mystery former Super Eagles player who made his debut in 2000 and eventually went on to have 56 caps for Nigeria, including appearances at 3 AFCON, that is African Cup of Nations tournament. He eventually quit football in 2014. On our Facebook fan page, Stone Wheezy, Ezekiel says Osaze Odewingi. Okay, somebody's saying Joseph Yobo. I haven't checked the name. Prince Aoyemi is also going for Odewingi. Tochuks Ume says Dani Shitu. And Blessing is watching as well. You can drop your take too, Blessing. Abu Kasimu is commenting on yesterday's game. Says, good morning to you. It's so sad we lost to a lowly team like CR. The last time CR won a match was in 2019.
Yes.
You see, these
against Burundi.
These are records, and they are meant to be broken at some point. It just so happened that it was going to be against Nigeria. Faith, your take. What went wrong, and what should we be doing better?
The attitude. We started that game poorly. It was very, very poor. The attitude to that game was terrible. You just have to say that. And
so you're not questioning the personnel, the lineup.
No, I'm not questioning the lineup. We started with our best lineup. Victor Osimhen just won the Italian Player of the Month. Kelechi Iheanacho, the senior man, has also been doing well. Maybe he's not been getting the stats, but he's been scoring goals here. For the past 1 year or thereabout. So you look at that lineup, you feel like that was the best lineup we could have come up with. Frank Onyeka, who's also been doing relatively well for Watford over there. So you look at all those players and you feel like we actually started the best set of players we could have started, but the attitude was bad. In fact, as a matter of fact, we were hearing that the players already prepared for an after party after the game. Well, maybe I'm not saying that's the reason why we lost, but it's also a pointer. It was eventually cancelled. They didn't have it, but it already shows the mindset going into that game. Yeah, you're playing against.
Faith made a point of saying it was eventually cancelled. Were you expecting them to still go?
No, just letting people know that they didn't have it because.
Of course, CR spoiled the party.
Yeah, they spoiled the party, but when you are preparing, what were we trying to celebrate actually? What was the after party about? It was not like we're already getting the World Cup ticket. It was not like it was something really remarkable. Even if you had won that game, it was not a milestone.
It would still have been what Nigerians would call normal level.
So imagine playing against the team ranked 124 in the world. I mean, maybe this will even go down as one of the best results in the entire.
It's not one of the best. It is the best.
Footballing history.
It is the best.
So you look at that and you feel like the attitude was poor. Then why doing the same thing over and over again? We kept punting long balls into the opposition half. They knew what we wanted to do, and they kept shutting us out. We didn't have a shot on target in that game. For 90 minutes against CAR, no single shot on target.
Okay.
Terrible performance.
Faith said attitude, and I agree, absolutely. I mean, when you're playing against a team that you're superior to, it should show from the beginning. Mm-hmm. The longer the game goes on without you finding a breakthrough, the more confident they become, knowing that, look, I mean, it could go.
And that was what happened.
Either ways.
I mean, as at the first half, you wouldn't have imagined that CAR would get a goal.
Maybe our boys were thinking.
Exactly.
Let's allow them have some.
And the funny thing is, they could have
half.
scored even earlier before that. I mean, it took the brilliance of the goalkeeper, Uzo, in that case, to keep them out. And in fact, they even scored early in the first half, but at least it was actually ruled out for offside. But they had been knocking on the door, and indeed, I thought that would have been a wake-up call right there for the Super Eagles to ensure that they actually get the first goal. If I thought there would be a goal in that game, but alas, they were just really being passive in that game, and ultimately the visitors actually waited till the perfect time, because maybe if they had scored earlier, it would have been enough time left exactly for Super Eagles to still equalize. So it was really a great game for them.
It's a wake-up call. I mean, it's not so damaging in terms of our aspirations of going to the World Cup. We still top the group, and I believe strongly that we're going to win the second leg on Sunday. In Group B, Tunisia maintained their 100% record with an easy 3-0 win over visiting Mauritania. Tunisia went ahead when a fierce strike from 30 yards from Cologne's Elis Sekiri flew into the top corner after just 15 minutes. In the other game in the group, Equatorial Guinea registered a 2-0 home win over 10-man Zambia, who had midfielder Prince Mumba dismissed for a straight red card in the 25th minute. Tunisia are top of the group on a maximum 9 points. Equatorial Guinea's second win lifted them to second, 6 points. Zambia remain on 3, and Mauritania pointless. Both reverse fixtures are also coming on Sunday. Meanwhile, Steve Moniz called a stunning winner against hosts Tanzania, which could be key to Benin's hope of reaching next year's playoff. The foursome second-minute strike from the edge of the area secured the visitors not only a crucial 1-0 win in Dar es Salaam, but also top spots in Group J. Benin now have 7 points, are being chased by DR Congo, won their first game after beating Madagascar 2-0 at home to move 2 points behind the leaders. Tanzania will play in Benin on Sunday, stay on 4 points, while Madagascar are propping up the group at the halfway stage after a third straight defeat. In Group E, Mali stayed unbeaten with a 5-0 thrashing of Kenya in a game played in Morocco, as Mali is another of the nations that does not have a stadium that meets the requirement to host international games. In the other match in the group, striker Fat Bayo scrambled the ball in after it had rebounded off a post to give Uganda a 1-0 win against Rwanda in Kigali. The result brings Mali up 7 points with the Cranes on 5. Kenya are third on 2 with Rwanda bottom with just a single point. The 2 reverse fixtures are also coming up on Sunday. The winners of Africa's 10 qualifying groups will contest next March's playoff to decide the continent far representatives at Qatar in 2022. The big question is, will Nigeria have enough to get through? I think the answer should be a big yes. Lesson learned. Let us move on. On our Facebook fan page, we're asking you again about the Super Eagles player who made his debut. Former Super Eagles player made his debut in 2000 with 56 caps, retired in 2014 after playing in 3 African Cup of Nations. We'll definitely be going through them one after the other. Meanwhile, this is a rather sad one, and I suspect this may just be the end of this lady's career, professionally speaking. Blessing Okagbare has been charged with 3 offenses by the Athletics Integrity Unit. She was suspended during the Tokyo Olympics after testing positive for a human growth hormone following an out-of-competition test on 19 July. The 32-year-old later tested positive for another banned substance, recombinant erythropoietin, which increases red blood cell count. She's also been charged for not cooperating with the AIU's investigation. That's what I find very disturbing, because they will be taking all of that into consideration when it's time to mete out the punishment. Okagbare, Olympic long jump silver medalist in Beijing 2008, denies all the charges and has requested that each of them be submitted to a disciplinary hearing. I hope that eventually our denial will hold water and eventually will be the true picture, because I think she's 32.
Yeah.
So she doesn't have more time. Anything like 3, 4, 5 years ban.
Even our legacy is on the line now.
Yeah.
Not just our future in the sport. So you consider what she has been able to achieve in the last and for Blessing Okagbare, and of course for our legacy as well.
Well, the good side is that they always keep an extra sample, or the moment they take your sample, they also keep another one. For cases like this, if you have doubts as regards the results, they can always go back to the sample and have another test as regards it. So wait to see what will come out of that for Blessing Okagbare.
Oluwasegun Adeni on Facebook says Sheyi Olofijano, Joshua Upper, Vincent Eyama, Chigozie Okeke Ogboeze says Obafemi Martins, Abiodun Fale, Julius Agawa. I think he's gotten a reply here from Arthur David saying Joseph Michael Yobo started football in 2000 and quit in 2014. But he didn't have 65 caps. He's gotten another reply. So keep your comments coming. Shortly, we'll be taking the BBC Premier League updates. Andy Murray has revealed that his wedding ring has been stolen at India Wells after leaving it tied to his shoes, which he kept outside under a car overnight. Well, that's not too good. Meanwhile, in the world of Formula One, Mercedes have admitted that Lewis Hamilton take an engine penalty for this weekend's Turkish GP is a possibility as they look to avoid reliability failures in the championship battle against Max Verstappen. In basketball, 18 former NBA players have been arrested on charges alleging they defrauded the league's health and welfare benefit plan out of around $4 million. Former Boston Celtics players Tony Allen and Glenn Davis, who both won the 2008 NBA title with the franchise, among the defendants. It is said that the scheme was carried out from at least 2017 to 2020 when the plan received false claims totaling $3.9 million of, our people.
Well.
Well, what? Now, quickly, boxing. Tyson Fury vowed to knock out Deontay Wilder when the two meet for the third time this Saturday in Las Vegas with the Britain's WBC heavyweight title on the line. You will get more on this tomorrow on the program World Sports starting from 12:30. Okay, we need to take a quick break right now for the BBC Premier League update. To be back on Sports Bang to check out your Facebook posts and, of course, open the phone lines for you to call in. France defeated Belgium yesterday 3-2. We'll be back in a moment.
BBC Premier League update from the home of Premier League football.
Hello, I'm Paul Serres at the BBC Sports Centre. The $400 million takeover of Newcastle United has been completed, ending Mike Ashley's 14-year tenure at St James's Park. The Premier League has approved the takeover backed by a Saudi Arabian investment fund after receiving legally binding assurances that the Saudi state would not control the club. They've been accused of human rights abuses. Amanda Staveley, the Chief Executive Officer of PCP Capital Partners, which is part of the consortium takeover, denies that this is sports washing, a move by the Saudi state to improve its image.
No, not at all. It's not sports washing at all. This is very much about the Public Investments Fund investment into a fantastic football team and a fantastic club. And we look forward to growing that club and developing it over the longer term.
The news was greeted by supporters who had gathered at St James's Park, waiting for confirmation that the takeover had been completed. The former Newcastle United captain, Rob Lee, says now's the time to spend wisely.
There's no point us just going out and buying like a Neymar, and he doesn't like the area, he doesn't sell in the area, and we're paying him 200 grand or 300 grand, 400 grand a week. That's no good to anybody. We have to make sure we have the right people in to choose the right players.
And France will face Spain in the final of the Nations League at the weekend after coming from 2-0 down to beat Belgium 3-2 in Turin. Manchester City's Kevin De Bruyne assisted both goals for Belgium, one of which was scored by Chelsea's Romelu Lukaku. The Belgians will take on the European champions Italy in the third-place playoff. And for more football news from the BBC, go to bbc.com/football.
BBC Premier League update from the home of Premier League football.
Okay, great to have you back. There you listen to the BBC Premier League updates. Well, I can see a lot of interesting interactions going on our Facebook fan page right now. I'm trying to, check out those comments. I think Blessing has also...
We have a winner, right?
Yes, the answer certainly is Seyi Olofijano.
Yeah. And the right answer was sent in by Oluwasegun Adeniyi. That's with the right hashtag. I guess this person must have been following us right from the Cheetah days. He also added the right hashtag #SportsBang, #Winning Friday. But the right answer is truly Seyi Olofijano from Oluwasegun Adeniyi. So congratulations.
Okay, well, let's see if one person can be lucky to get in. Just one person. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, sir.
Yes, good morning. Your name, where you calling from, and pick a number. You're just going to be our only caller today.
My name is Tim Tope. I'm calling from Omiadio.
Okay, number what?
Number 2, sir.
Number 2. Which Zambian player was sent off in yesterday's defeat to Equatorial Guinea? I mentioned it this morning. Prince Mumba. I mentioned it. Sorry, we have to go. Definitely we'll be reaching out to our winner.
Joseph on the road.
Joseph, okay, your number, Joseph.
Number 1.
Number 1. How many times did Paul Gasol make the NBA All-Stars team?
3 times.
3 times. That's your answer.
Yes.
It's actually 6 times. 6. All right, thank you for calling. Well, we have to go. I don't know what happened today. Just I'm fine now. Oluyinka Oguyemi on Facebook says, lesson learned, we don't learn our lessons. I don't see how you guys are quiet and gonna draw. We need another coach. Ntro does not cut it for us, but we can't sack him today. We have a game on Sunday. And
Blessing also,
if you have extra boxes where I can place my disappointment after that game yesterday, please send them over. Send what over?
But also, you can actually drop your disappointment, I guess.
Keep your disappointments. Don't worry. On Sunday, we'll turn it around.
Hopefully.
Thank you so much, Faith Adedeji.
Yeah, quickly into our odds for the week. Cyprus against Croatia to win. Egypt against Libya, Egypt to win. Czech Republic against Wales, home team not to win 2-0.
Oh, quite interesting.
How have you been doing, Faith?
Well, that's way better.
Flopping. No. Are you dropping out or you're passing?
I wish George could actually just try to buttress how well I've been doing in the last few weeks. But anyway,
Super Eagles.
I'm backing you on that
on
today.
Sunday.
I'm backing you.
Thank you so much. Thanks to Josh. Thanks to AY this morning from the social media. Do have a great Friday. Tomorrow on World Sports, 12:30 is going to be absolutely interesting. I am Tunde Olawo. Bye-bye.